Now this will tell us. And that's pretty conclusive. Still going. Close. I think he got it down.
How strong is he?
Welcome back to the Pick and Go Rugby Podcast, punters, and as we are here to celebrate yet another Crusaders Super Rugby triumph, 6 years under Razor Robinson, 6 trophies they now have in the trophy cabinet. As you can see to my left, got Richard Laddie, Paul Mighty. Fellas, how are you feeling after that one?
Sense of deja vu, wasn't it? Paul, you said last week, we've been here before, we know the script, and it maybe didn't play out exactly as we sort of expected, but yeah, great game. Crusaders far too good, and Blues will be licking their wounds, I think.
Great game?
It was a good game. It was a good game. The conditions probably weren't conducive to wide open football, but we saw some good pieces there. We certainly saw a dominant set piece from one team. And I guess when you get to a grand final, a good pointer is always how much grand final experience does one team have versus the other. And the Crusaders were stacked full of grand final experience.
That was the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman champion Blindside they were taking on.
Real grand final championship experience.
Yeah, I saw someone was getting mad that the Crusaders were being referred to as champions when the Blues were actually, but I think when the Blues captain says it doesn't really count, that sort of vetoes any claim they have to defending champion status, right? Yeah. I mean, yeah, we pretty much touched on it there. The Crusaders just sort of did their thing, right? Was anyone surprised? Like, of course, thinking about this time last week, the Blues were favourites for the game, which, I mean, everything in the hindsight, but...
Not only were they favourites, the Crusaders opened up at $2.05, and the bookies were quickly reminded that that is just not good by the amount of cash we took from the South Island.
I was very surprised to see it didn't switch the other way, and at some stage, I thought the Crusaders would have come into favouritism. But yeah, I mean, I guess it all starts and finishes at the set piece, right? When you can't win a line out and your scrum's going backwards all day, it makes it very difficult to, especially in those conditions.
Yeah, very hard. I mean, I think the Blues probably paid the price for selecting a blindside flanker at lock, and the Crusaders second rowers were licking their lips at that opportunity. What was it, 9 from 19 lineouts? So they lost 10 of their lineouts.
That's
it's unheard of. It's
like
schoolboy rugby.
Jump, you'd think you'd win half and just lob it over the back.
And you can see they were just shaking, eh?
It's all like Eastbourne now.
we had a very good line out on Saturday. Amazing what taking Patrick Jones out of your line out does to it.
They were just shaking, They from early on, Crusaders just got in their heads, and they stayed in their heads the whole time. They were trying the big throws at the back, but half of them weren't working. People were knocking it on the back line, and yeah, I mean, how can you win 15 games in a row and then turn up to a final and have that happen? It's just you got to feel for the Blues and their fans. They got that try at the end, and the fans obviously picked up a little bit, and you thought maybe there was something coming here, but Pablo Matera had something to say about that with his little chip through. And
Lionel Messi.
Yeah. One of the greats. They also lost 2 of their own scrums as well. Yeah, so it wasn't just the line out, it was a set piece. And yeah, there'll be a few of those All Blacks front rowers.
It's amazing they kept it to only a 14-point deficit.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we think the conditions played into the Crusaders' hands? Obviously, they don't mind. We saw the week before down in Christchurch that they don't mind playing in a bit of wind and rain. But maybe if it had been a better night and the Crusaders had that much ball, it might have just been a complete whooping.
Yeah, and they got close. They got close a couple of times, Fainga'anuku, that could have gone either way, I was on Fainga'anuku first try scorer, so it was a heartbreak. But I mean, very much you feel like Crusaders just dominated that game, and they played to the conditions very well. And I mean, there was never any question about it from about the second or third minute in when they sort of first got on top of that line out. And I had a look at the possession territory. They did it was only 57% of possession in both territories. So it's not like dominant, but it's just enough. They had enough ball.
30 minutes though, right? I don't think the Blues had the ball in the Crusaders' half until the end of the first half, was it? Or
I think it was skewed in the first half,
I guess the Crusaders obviously did their homework, and they had a game plan. You've obviously got to execute that game plan, and they did that perfectly. For the for the Blues, they weren't without opportunities themselves, even with the sort of back foot ball that they were getting. And there were times when they could have created opportunities with a simple draw pass with the backline. They had a number of overlaps at times, and a simple draw pass would have given them maybe a one-on-one with the fullback sort of thing. But and I think they did this for a good part of the season as well, they relied on individual brilliance at times during this season, and they relied on it again in the final. And because they weren't getting front foot ball, and because the Crusaders were tackling like demons and had a great defensive pattern, there was no room for that individual brilliance to actually shine. So what we saw was a team game plan go over the top of a team that had a couple of individual stars that weren't allowed to sort of show the sort of game that they have been able to show during the season.
No, I think that's very fair. Yeah. And talking about individual brilliance, we should probably give a shout out to a few Crusaders players, because there was no shortage of stars on Saturday. For me, I mean, I think it starts and ends with Sam Whitelock, that's playing with a broken thumb. We talked about the set piece being the sort of key area where the Crusaders really set the tone there, and he's obviously at the heart of everything that they do there. I think, I'm sure the Blues still would have had a tough time at the set piece if Sam hadn't played, because the Chiefs still didn't have it all their own way last Saturday. But just his presence there, I know he's not shy about throwing a few comments around in a line out, and when they know they're on top of you at the line out, he will let the opposition know. But yeah, who else stood out to you guys? Was there any other?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably say about half the team, Richie Wong was brilliant. Definitely outplayed Bowden Barrett. There's a lot of talk about that matchup, but I think he definitely won that. Cullen Grace is going from strength to strength at the moment. He had another great game. Tom Christie was pretty good as well. Mentioned Matera before with his little chip and chase. Havili probably had one of his best games, if not best game of the season. And I thought Whanganui was brilliant as well. I mean, you could literally say about 2/3 of that Crusaders team, you can shout them out because, they were just dominant. Also, shout out to Ben O'Keefe. Brilliantly refereed game.
Yep, I agree.
Did tweet at one stage, I think common sense just prevailed, which is not something you have often seen in Super Rugby this year. So that was great.
Yeah, I thought he had a grand final performance. I thought Bryn Hall was brilliant for the Crusaders, ex-Blues player who wasn't wanted a few years back. So he's gone on and done some really good things, and he's off to, I think, Japan now. So wish him all the best. But I think it was highlighted by the fact when he went off, they lost a wee bit of cohesion there. So I think if you're looking for a player that's playing sort of above their ability or playing at the top of their ability, it's usually highlighted by when they're not there, someone else comes on who's a very, very good player themselves, but you just see a drop in sort of output. And I thought we saw that, and it sort of gave the Blues a wee bit of sort of not quite momentum, but a bit of a lift when that sort of the management that he did behind that Crusader scrum. And to be fair, it was a scrum that was going forward all the time, so he didn't have a hard job, but he did it. He did it very, very well. So I did like Bryn Hall.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. It seems like we've touched on most of the Crusaders there. I think between the three of us
it's hard to point out a Crusader and say, well,
I mean, it was
you're a distinct game.
It's just a complete team performance.
I think it was like Richie got man of the match, but I'm with you. It should have been Sam Whitelock. Like just the pressure that he sort of put on, and there was that steal leading up to that final try as well that he got. Which is just
he just has those moments for a large man. He has some cat-like reflexes at different times. He does to get over the ball like that in those conditions. Shout out to Sam. But obviously all attention turns to the All Blacks now. That's there's a World Cup in 18 months' time, so we're going to be having selection debates over pretty much every meal for the next 18 months, I imagine, in this country. That in a lot of ways, we were saying last week, there was a few All Black trials out on the field on Saturday night. Was there do you feel particularly different about anyone in particular or any position group after what you saw at Eden Park?
For me, the one was probably I've probably got Havili starting at second five. I think last year, like neither him or Tupai sort of they both played all right. I mean, Havili probably didn't have a great end of season, and he's been solid all this season. And there's been sort of question marks over who they'll go for. I think they might lean with him. I thought he was absolutely brilliant in that game. And I mentioned before, maybe there's a few question marks about some of those Blues props, some of those Irish forwards and Irish coaches might have been licking their lips watching that that sort of set piece crumble as it did. I've still got Bowden in front of Richie, I think. Yeah, never won in New Zealand.
Never won in New Zealand, the Irish.
You might see that around the.
They've never won in New Zealand.
You might see that around the
against the All Blacks. Never won in New Zealand against the All Blacks.
Yes. How'd they go last time they played the All Blacks?
Took them 111 years to beat the All Blacks. Just
I've still got Bowden over Richie.
Well, we will get to All Blacks teams for the first test. But I think the Blues midfield certainly didn't do themselves any favours. Sort of showed they maybe struggle to influence the game when they can't get their hands on clean ball. So that's something that selectors obviously, and not that I think they maybe necessarily bang down the door for first team selection, but both number 8, Cullen Gray's not even in the squad. I think maybe they're regretting that after seeing what he did. And Hoskins Tutu and the pack that was going backwards, actually, I've always sort of seen him as like someone who's really good when you're winning a game by 20, but not so good when you're losing by 10. But I think he actually was one of the Blues' better forwards and still managed to put a bit of influence on the game and shows he can, still affect the game while going backwards. So that was something I thought to know. But yeah, the Blues props, that was, I don't know what, when Fletcher knew it, like, they're both good reserve props the Crusaders have got there, but that's not what you want to see.
International standards,
they're not tagged Furlong, is what I'll say, because, I think that sums up. And we've got to finish. I mean, it's the official question of the podcast at this stage, but no odds up for 2023 Super Rugby Pacific. Who knows what format will even be in if the Aussies get their way, but
what the squads will be.
Yeah. Crusaders or the field, Paul?
Crusaders.
Yeah. Richard?
I'll take the field this year. I think they say you have to lose a grand final to win one. And the Blues have lost one now. So maybe it'll be their year. If not, there's a few other teams in there.
You heard it here first, folks. Richie's handing in his Crusaders handbag.
I will take the Crusaders. Yeah. We see I take it. We see the Blues as probably the biggest challenge for this.
They'll build from this.
Damien McKenzie back at the Chiefs.
It certainly helps.
It
will help. But it almost looks like another Blues Crusaders final.
We'll see how that Brumbies team can build from it. I don't think they're losing too much of their experience.
Which Tom's going in Japan?
Banks.
Right.
Yeah. But I think Wright's still there.
Not Marty.
No.
Right. Okay. The legend dog.
The legend dog.
Yeah, no, the Brumbies will still be there. Dan McKellar is leaving, which will
is he?
See how he's joining the Wallabies set up, so that's good for the Wallabies for sure.
It'll test their depth.
Yeah. I do think it's going to be those 3 New Zealand teams at the top of the charts when the odds are out again. And if you give me 275 for the Crusaders against bookies, I'll bite your hand off. So. Yep, that sums us up for the final of Super Rugby Pacific for 2022. We're going to sort of have a roundabout look back at the season as a whole now, though. Just each gone through and picked out our teams of the season. We like to be very positive on this podcast. We're going to celebrate some of the best performances. We're just going to go through everyone through 15, see where we agree, disagree. We've already been told we were wrong by certain members of the office before coming in to record. So
one member of the office.
Yeah.
Shout La Bomba.
Shout La Bomba.
So if you are watching this on YouTube or whatever, do get stuck in the comments and tell us who would have been in your team this season. But we'll kick things off in the number 1 jersey, as would make sense. Who was your loose head prop of the year, Richard?
George Bauer.
Carter's finest, I've heard him called.
Carter's finest. That was a Bomba reference. Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly a front row expert, but I think he seems to been consistent. We mentioned before he's been brilliant in those last sort of few rounds and was great in that final. So I'll have him there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the AB squad as well. AB's team there as well.
Sure.
Times 2.
Okay. Anything else to add on George?
I like him his sort of work around the field as well, not just at the set pieces where they were very, very good anyway. But just his all-round work. He's really come on leaps and bounds in the space of 12 months.
He's a huge credit to Jason Ryan and that team down in Canterbury. They obviously identified he had a skill set and knew they could work with him on the set piece. And I feel like the Crusaders pretty much grab anyone and turn them into a good set piece player these days. But he's obviously always been a great athlete. But I didn't actually go with George Bauer. It's very hard to argue with that decision. Pretty much every Crusader could arguably have a spot on there. But I went Angus Bell, the Waratahs. I think he's really he was a good player last year, obviously in the Wallabies squad, but he's sort of, I think, taken that step up from exciting prospect to legitimate game breaker. The way he's played, he's scored a couple of tries. He's a really good athlete around the park, and the Waratahs did have a pretty good scrum. He was no small part of that. You notice the difference when their sort of first choice and second choice props were on and off the field. So I think he was one of their key players in that the big turnaround the Waratahs obviously had.
Most improved side.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
hands down. I was listening to another podcast, and someone tried to claim the Blues were the most improved team this year. Like, really? I think we thought they were going to be pretty good. But yeah,
certainly based on preseason odds and everything like that.
I know. I mean,
I took no shortage of jokes. Like, I think we're not going to officially give this award out, but if we were giving a coach of the year, is anyone not giving it to Darren Coleman?
No, it's got to be,
Lee McDonald doesn't get a look in, or Razor?
He's well,
Razor just.
I guess when the bar's so high, it's you can sometimes be judged on the fact that you've been there and done that so many times that for you to do it again. I think Robertson is the one that deserves it because he continues to just rise.
But if we're looking at the season as a whole, right? Like, I know the Crusaders were obviously dominant in the final. They did lose to the Waratahs. But,
and yet they still have another championship in the bag.
The final is the most important game. But I don't think this is the best Crusaders Super Rugby season performance we've seen under Razor as a whole. They weren't.
There you go. You're
dominant.
judging them.
It wasn't the dominance. It wasn't the dominance
performances by a Crusaders team.
He also has much better cattle to work with than Darren Coleman.
He does.
Yeah. They peaked at the right time.
Oh yeah. I mean, like doing that in a final is Razor would be in my top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, crikey. Bo will be very happy to hear that.
Who's your hooker then, Paul, in the team of the season?
Samasoni Tokiaho.
Yeah, times 2.
We're all on the same page here. Yeah.
Dynamic around the park. It was probably out of him and Eklund for me. And then Petra, you were saying
and
before.
Kurt Eklund threw the ball to you. Right out.
Crikey.
Yeah, so Eklund, probably the last couple of weeks he's let himself down. But yeah, I mean, he's just a great, exciting player to watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can also do in the black jersey this year. Just so dynamic around the park, and some silky footwork, and definitely.
He is one player the Irish should fear. He's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the way he plays.
8th most carries in Super Rugby this year. Obviously, the Chiefs had probably one of the better scrums in the competition as well, I think.
8th most carries.
Yeah.
Okay.
But considering the Hookers don't play 80 minutes, he had a very capable backup in Bradley Slater, who took plenty of minutes off him too. So you have 14 games, 12 starts. His work rate's been huge. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his work. I'll lead us off for tight head because I've gone with another Chiefs, Angus Tarvau. Played 14 games, started 13 of them. I think he was, another very key part of that Chiefs scrum being as strong as they were, and sort of the strength of their game. He also sort of has been good around the park. He's got really underrated ball skills. I think he's a good link player for them when that and actually dotted down in the semi-final. Not that
he's had a few tries in the last few weeks of the compound.
He's an underrated ball player now. His work at the set piece is as good as it gets, pretty much. So maybe not the most mobile, but certainly very skillful. So I've gone with Angus Tarvau.
Nice.
How about you, Paul?
I've got Aidan Ross.
So you got 2 loose.
Yeah. No, I meant to put Angus Tarvau, and I obviously was reading some notes, and I've put down Aidan Ross. So hopefully he can play both sides of the scrum. If he can't, then Tarvau comes in.
Nice. I got Taniela Tupou. Obviously, injury cut his season short, but you just saw when he did get injured what it sort of did to that Reds team and their momentum they had. So another one who's just great ball skills for a big man. Beautiful to watch. So they go around the park and doesn't mind a meat pie. So yeah, I'll go with him.
Very hard to argue with. Probably the most talented tight head in the competition for sure. Should we do the second row as we'll chuck both of them out at the same time? Do you want to lead us off, Richard?
Yeah, Tupou Vai and Darcy Swain. Vai really just came in leaps and bounds this season, and just love. He's got that sort of utility factor. He's played a bit of 6 as well, and sort of showed some potential there. And Swain for the Brumbies, I thought he was just brilliant when they were sort of making that late run. just a real good work rate, and just Mr. Consistent. He just seemed like he was, when those sort of crossover games come in, he was really putting his hand up and giving it to some of those Kiwi sort of type fives. So yeah, with those two.
And you, Paul?
Luke Romano and Sam Whitelock.
I thought the old duo.
Yeah. Well, although in opposing sides for the final, and I thought Romano had a big influence on just how well that Blues forward pack went during the season. They fell away a bit on the big stage, but before that, I thought he was extremely consistent, and I like it. And he's always had a big work rate, and there was a chance that going to the Blues that might fall away. Oh, I think he actually picked things up. And Sam Whitelock might be a wee bit of recency bias there, but I thought during the season he was probably the best lock in the comp.
Yeah, Sam Whitelock is also on my team. He didn't play as many minutes as other guys. He obviously had injury issues and the All Black rest policy and everything like that. But I still think if you distill it down, what makes the Crusaders so great, everything starts with that set piece, and he's the heart and soul there. He's obviously such a culture setter. He's not the official captain of the team, but I imagine you talk to anyone around that building, he's as influential as anyone in the squad. He's still, I mean, he's going to walk into one of the All Black starting lock jerseys, even with a broken thumb. That just goes to show how influential he is. I think in terms of most important players in the competition, he's right up there. And then I also went with Darcy Swain as well. Just he was a rock for maybe the best forward pack in the competition. Started 15 out of the 16 games, played 1,087 minutes, and it was everywhere. Second most line out wins, and he was just sort of another guy super key to what the Brumbies did there. How they just flew into rucks and caused all sorts of chaos when you're trying to recycle the ball. So yeah, he was huge for the Brumbies. How about blindside flanker, Richard?
Rob Valentini, another Brumby. I just love the way he plays. You know, it's just exciting brand, and not one of those sort of, I don't know, the All Blacks could do with a 6. Six his size and ability at the moment.
I think Dave Rennie will let that happen.
But the way that he another guy just so important to that sort of Brumbies team.
He played a bit of number 8 as well.
Yeah, played 8 as well. Yeah, so I originally actually had him as 8, but then I realized there was someone else I wanted to put at 8, so got him into my team. But he did play a lot of 6 as well. So, but looking forward to seeing what he can do in the Order jersey this year.
Who did you have, Paul?
Charlie Gamble. Once again, I thought I should include at least someone from the TARS team, and I thought he had a huge season, and he was a big part of why that forward pack went so well. He's very, very busy, gets around the field. He's a big rangy type player. He's a Kiwi.
He is. Yeah, he's not actually eligible for the Wallabies this year. He needs to do another year of residency before he can don the green and gold.
He'll be in next year.
Yeah.
He'll be in next year. Yeah.
Or can we get him back? We can use a 6.
Here we go.
I've gone for Ethan Blackheader. Obviously missed the point end of the season, but yeah, he was as good as any Crusaders forward. Just the way he gets around the park, he does everything. He's great with ball in hand, gets out in the wide channels and causes chaos. But the man does not mind sticking his head in a ruck. He's got huge work rate. He's everywhere. I think he was the pick of that Crusaders loose forward quadro, if you include the sort of 4 of them they rotated in and out. So I just love it
as well. He can play all 3.
Oh yeah, I just love the way he plays. I reckon you can chuck him at lock if you needed to. He's 6'4". He's got enough stuff. Tom Robinson's playing lock. He can play lock.
Yeah,
nice not
do that. I love Ethan Blackheader, so he had to be in the team for me.
Yeah,
nice. Who was your open side, Richard?
Dobson Papali'i. Another one, Mr. Consistent. You sort of saw when he came on the weekend from the bench that sort of, he had a couple of big moments. That break that he made, you see what he's capable of. I think he was probably my form open side. Incredible work rate. And the consistency as well. Like just so few missed tackles and that sort of thing. So got him there.
You
Dalton.
Yes. Yeah. So was I.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think he sort of really seems to have thrived in that leadership role for the Blues. I think he really enjoys taking on that mantle and leading that pack by example. He's been awesome. Obviously, the Blues, the back line gets the credit, but that forward pack was pretty explosive for a lot of the season. So, yeah.
And he, you could tell he was slightly underdone after having the appendix out. But he came on. He still made a bit of a difference when he came on in that fight. I would have started him. If he's good enough to come on as a reserve, he's good enough to start. I would have started him and just let him get stuck into the game. And
because who did start with Choate?
Yeah.
But like, what if Choate rolls his ankle in the 3rd minute? Then, like, surely,
yeah, it's but he's got If you're on the bench, then you're good enough to start, sort of thing.
For a final.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it's just like a normal round robin game, you can understand easing them
well,
in.
give him a week, give him another week. But no. Anyway.
Yeah.
I
mean, he was great all season. Yeah. I mean, that's probably but it wasn't that close. But the Blues will have to be wondering if they had a fully fit Dalton, how he might have changed the balance up, right? Because he was epic down in Christchurch in that first meeting.
Huge.
So yeah, and then I had Rob Valentini in my 8 jersey because he has to be in the team. He was so important for the Brumbies. The way they got go forward ball, he'd run through anything and over anything. That performance he had in Hamilton when they beat the Chiefs was one of the best performances.
Was that when there was that try?
Carried about. And that's another one. If he'd been fully fit, he clearly wasn't his best in the semi-final against the Blues. I mean, you do have to wonder if they had a fully fit Rob Valentini, what could have happened there. So yeah, I got Rob in that jersey.
Nice.
I think
Gus for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with a shout out to Callum Grace. But yeah, love Peter Gus. Sort of probably slowed down towards the later in the season, but the way that he'd started off, I think he was best 8 for at least the first sort of half, really consistently. So yeah, let me go with him.
You, Paul?
The strongest man in Super Rugby with ball in hand, Ardie Savea. He was the difference in a number of Canes games where they wouldn't have won without him. So he just makes a huge difference to that team. Ardie Savea.
Yeah, I mean, I did feel a bit silly leaving Ardie out of my list forward trio. I just thought on balance these 3 all came from top 3 sides and but I mean,
I was the same. Yeah.
I'll have him as impact off the bench.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll move on to the back line. Who you got on the 9 jersey, Richard?
Nick White. Yeah, I think the importance that he will had to the Brumbies team and how well they did this year. I think Lolosio definitely came leaps and bounds this season, just having that experience inside him. But yeah, he just controls the game really well. There's box kicks and all that. So yeah, Nick White for me.
And you, Paul?
Bryn Hall. And this may be a wee bit of recency bias after the performance he put in the final, but looking back, I think he had a huge impact on that Crusaders team and his sort of linking with the forward pack, guiding them around the field, and then linking with the back line. I thought, obviously, the forwards with the front 4 ball give the back line a whole lot of sort of opportunities, but I thought that his service let Richie Wong really sort of, I guess, show just how good he is. So, yeah, Bryn Hall for mine.
I also had Nick White. Just the way sort of everything in the Brumbies backline runs through him. He takes a lot of the decision making and everything off Noah Lolaseo's shoulders. He's super important. If you sort of swapped him out for just a random halfback, that would really affect the way the Brumbies play. So I think as much as he likes to be a second referee out on the field.
He's a typical halfback. He loves a champ.
Yeah,
loves a champ.
Him and TJ facing off in that quarterfinal. That was sort of just the ultimate matchup of halfbacks. Yeah, but no, he's
3 referees on the field at once.
He certainly deserves a spot in the squad. I'm sure there'll be no controversy here as we pick our number 10 for the team of the season. I'll let you lead it off, Paul, since you usually shy away from that sort of thing.
Richie Wong. Although it was a coin toss between him and Bowden. I just went with Mwanga, basically because they won the championship. And he, once again, we know he is a player who can just spark an opportunity, just open up a game when there seems like nothing's on at all. And he showed that quite a few times during the season. So Richie for mine, but only just ahead of Bodie.
How about you, Richard?
Bodie for me. Yeah. I think he probably just had a little bit more influence throughout the season. Obviously, Richie definitely won that. Won that
South
battle.
Island viewers have just switched off. Well, hold on, no, they'll do that when you say Bodie as well.
Yeah, I'll go Bodie. I think he just looks like he's in the form of his life at the moment. Apart from the final. But yeah.
I mean, this is one of those things where it has to seem like a slight to one of the other two, but they can both just be really good players. And I just think Bodie was slightly better. I still think the performance he had in the game of Christchurch was the best single game anyone had all season. He was absolutely outstanding there. we saw in the Highlanders and Brumbies finals games, he sort of was getting back to that dominant Bodie that we have seen. And I still, like, the Crusaders had a better, well-organised pack. I think if you swapped either of them out for, Richie probably had a weaker backup. Obviously, having Stephen Perifeta there was nice. So the Blues didn't have that same drop-off. But if you had the same thing with Nick White, like if you just pulled a random first five off the street, I think it probably hurts the Blues a little bit more than the Crusaders. But they both have different strengths. I mean, I'd love to have both of them in my team. I still think I saw Richie was only 86 kg, so if you want to drop a kick and come down for reform in the next couple of weeks, Richie, you're more than welcome.
That's his spare time.
So, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I'd have Bowden, but, along with Artie, we're rolling Richie and Artie off the bench together in my team, so that's a nice little 1-2 punch. I have a feeling we're all going to be on the same page in the 11 jersey, though.
I've got an English player, Leicester. Fine.
Yeah, times 2.
Yeah, times 3.
Leicester.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
Oh, he's a great player.
Yeah.
He was another one we didn't really touch on, but I think he really improved his standing on Saturday night to show that he's not just a sort of flat track bully. He got stuck in and really gave the Crusaders some hard-earned go-forward ball.
Hit the most meters on the ground, 113 meters, I think it was. So, yeah, no, definitely Leicester for me. Yeah. I think we're at the start of the season, we were sort of singing his praises, and I think we were talking about potential All Blacks bowler and all that. But yeah, he almost exceeded what we were expecting. Hey, this season, brilliant.
Like really, because I mean, George Bridges was starting with the All Blacks less than a year ago, and for him to just say, "No, that 11 jersey's mine," Bridgie didn't even really get a look. I think he probably started more games at fullback than on the left wing this season. So yeah, he had the most tries in the competition, equal most with the other two members of the Crusaders back three, all ending up on 10 tries.
Amazing name.
8th most carries, 6th most clean breaks, 3rd most offloads, and 3rd most meters carried in the competition. Like his work rate for a winger was just exceptional. He was everywhere. And he's really taking his game to another level, and hopefully we can see him do it in a black jersey sooner rather than later.
Yeah, you'd imagine so.
Sooner.
Yes, absolutely.
No, it will be.
Like
it will be soon.
8 days time sort of thing.
Yeah.
How about your second 5, Paul? Who's got the jersey there?
Calaveti Ravovo.
Love that.
I genuinely love that.
He was just superb, and once again, the Drua were a team where most of the time they were getting ball on the back foot, but it didn't really matter. He's a strong, fast. You could put him in the loose forwards.
Oh yeah, his late footwork when he gets to the line and then makes this late move at the last second and puts defenders off balance, and he can always get an offload away or get that little extra go forward ball, which the Drua quite often needed to be able to retain it. So
I thought he was brilliant.
I got him with Simone.
Oh yeah,
I thought
great try.
Yeah, well, he did that a couple of times. I think he did against the Crusaders as well, didn't he? Was it him who got over early? That sort of partnership he got with who's the centre? Brumby centre. They got recarded.
Lena Katau.
Yeah. So those two, had a great little sort of combo sort of going there. But yeah, I really liked what I saw from him. I'm looking forward to sort of seeing some more from him, what he can do. There was a couple of people that, like the likes of sort of Tuasa Sheck, I thought he had a pretty good season, but not good enough to make the team. Havili, Tapia, like plenty of names that could have got there, but yeah, Simone was on top for me.
I did go with Quintapia. I think he's sort of taken his game to another level this season. It remains to be seen whether he can translate that to international rugby, but his distribution was awesome. I think he offloaded really well. He was a real hub for that Chiefs team. What do we got here? He had the most carries by a back in the competition, 3rd most overall, 7th most defenders beaten, 4th most meters carried. Like he had an awesome work rate. He played most of his sort of games played was right up there with any All Black. He had that little stint on the left wing when the Chiefs had their injury crisis and excelled there as well. Yeah, I think he's really shown he got that dynamism as a second 5 and was, we know he can go forward ball. Like he's always been a strong ball runner, but to add that distribution, maybe just take it away when you're about to slide over the line in the semi-final in Christchurch. But other than that, he was awesome. And I think I do have Calaveti Ravovo bracketed for my 3rd midfield spot though as well, because I did want to pick a lot of Drua players, but I had to maybe let common sense prevail. But I don't think that's a silly selection at all. I think he on form was awesome. Yeah,
and a team that was like struggling as well. Yeah, Ravovo was great.
Yeah. How about the midfield partner for Ravovo, Paul? Who's
Alex Nankivell from the Chiefs? But I just throughout the whole season, I thought he was consistently in the top 3 midfielders every week. I don't remember him having a bad game, and he was a big part of why the Chiefs made it through to that semi-final. He's solid, but he's quite light of foot as well. He's got some skills. Really like the way he plays.
I don't mind that. He was my second pick, but I went with I think you guys have both got your Waratah on the team. We get mine, Parisi. Yeah, I thought Parisi was brilliant. Unfortunately, he had that. I think it was ACL in the end, so the season came to an end a bit earlier. But such an exciting player to watch with ball in hand. Some of the tries that he scored and was setting up. Another player I'm looking forward to sort of seeing what he can do in the future. So Parisi.
I went with Rico Ioane. I just think he had an awesome season. It was whenever the Blues were going forward, he was just absolutely electric. Scored a lot of great tries. The link up play between that whole Blues backline, he was always in the middle of it. So great player. I think
he did a good season. It was probably my third.
And now onto the right wing, Richard. Who you got there?
Well, I've gone with someone who I think actually played in the left wing most of the season, but I had to get him in there.
Okay, I'm not allowed to say props.
Samosi Tavatavanawai. He obviously came into the comp a little bit later. I think he didn't start to play till about eighth or ninth round, but I think he had the most tackle breaks out of any player.
By a long way.
By a long way, having not played the first few rounds. Just one of those guys when he gets the ball, just beautiful to watch. So Tasman boy. So the Tasman wingers are stocks. The Tasman stocks are very high.
He's already back tearing up club rugby down there. I've heard.
Is he? Yeah. There you go. You'd love to see it. I think I also had Habosi, but I think he is also a left wing, isn't he? So I had
not in my team. He's not.
There you go. Yeah. So I thought, Habosi. Shout out to Habosi as well.
Who you got, Paul?
Mark Talia.
He was great.
I thought he's another player that sort of made leaps and bounds in terms of where he was last season to this season. So, and he did very little wrong for the Blues. I thought he had a very, very solid season. So, and I thought I should have a few Blues in there soon as they make the final.
His work rate for Rongo as well. James has mentioned it several times on the podcast. He does not mind getting stuck into a ruck. He was awesome. How about Tasman though? Lose Leicester to the All Blacks and just you got Jim and Talia on the wings for the season.
Ridiculous.
How fun are they going to be to watch? Vinay Habosi. The man is the definition of electric. Like that. I mean, we all remember the try very fondly that him and Ravovo combined for in Lautoka a couple of weeks ago.
He was going backwards to get the ball just meters from his own line, and then. Does he pop under a tackle? He's 6 foot something. He pops under a tackle, and then he's off and gone.
He's pretty much stopped, and then he gets up and beats 3 more players. And he was doing that also. He was absolutely everywhere. He goes looking for work. He had the 3rd most defenders beaten in the comp and the 5th most meters carried. So
we did most of that in one move.
No, it was awesome. And this is a team that wasn't getting a lot of front football to play with. So I just. The moments he created, he was one of the most. Him and Tavatavanawa as well was seeing him with ball in hand. I could have very easily had Jim there as well. They're both awesome, but bit of love from a drawer.
Yeah, good to get good to shout out those guys as well. Drawer and more Pacifica, what they sort of brought to the comp this year.
If they could just lift the level of their set piece, game. Crikey, look out.
Oh yeah, so if the drawer could get a ball back off a line out, it'd be
And plus also, and this is hard for a lot of teams, defensively break down the rolling maul, especially off those short, those lineouts close to the line. If they can disrupt that, or either in the air or on the ground.
Let's not forget that Moana Pacifica beat the Brumbies as well. The best rolling maul in the comp.
Not a lot of people saw that coming. None of us, I don't think.
I was on holiday, so I wasn't officially on record for that game. But remember,
my best bet that week was
neither of those two teams had a proper preseason, and Moana Pacifica obviously had a shocking lead up the season. The drill had all sorts of disruptions. So if they can get a proper preseason under their belt, probably have a bit better endurance base, work on some more set pieces. Mick Byrne's going to know how to get set pieces figured out. So I think there'll be.
And Moana Pacifica, they had 2 weeks where they had 3 games in the space of 8 days because of COVID and things like that.
3 weeks, I think.
That's 3.
Well,
it's just terrible.
Force game as well. They were super unlucky. So Yeah, and just like the experience factor, knowing what it's like to have a 16-week season where you've got games every week and tough opposition. So yeah, no, they'll certainly be better for it. I don't know if, but yeah, I've got Will Jordan in the 15 jersey. I don't know about you two. Just
ding, ding.
Few stats here, obviously equal top try scorer. He had more than 500 more meters carried in the second most in the competition. It was like he had 50% more than. It was insane, those numbers. Second for defenders beaten and clean breaks. Like, yeah, I mean,
people don't like tackling them.
They only get a chance. Yeah, he's. I mean, if Bosey's electric, he's just as electric. Like, the guy's just awesome. Yeah,
he loves to those two playing in a team together. Yeah, Jordan as well. Nothing too much more to add. Sort
not
of
that I'm putting
stats summing up.
Yeah, let's not put Bosey to the Crusaders in any sort of like either. Yeah, no, they're awesome. I think Will Jordan. Yeah.
I think he's turning out for Tasman next week, isn't he?
No,
he's not. No.
Yeah. How many? So how many unanimous picks do we have there? Jordan, Fainga'anuku, Papali'i. We all had Valentini in.
No.
All right.
No,
Takiaho.
Yeah, so Takiaho, Dalton Papali'i, Lester Fainga'anuku, and Will Jordan. Congratulations, you're the inaugural unanimous selections to the Picking Goal and Super Rugby team.
Should we do a MVP next season?
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
You know, every game will have like a 3-2-1 or something like that, or a 5-3-1.
Yeah, great.
I mean, I genuinely.
So we can have a pick and go MVP for the Super Rugby season next.
Have it on record.
Yeah.
Well, have you got down another opportunity for everyone to get mad with us in the comments? I'm sure here, but we are going to pick our MVPs for this season. Just go through our top 3 in voting. Let us know who you would have had MVP in the comments, Crusaders fans. Who did you have? We'll start from we'll go 3, 2, 1. So from third in the list, build a little bit of suspense. Who was third in your rankings?
Peter Gass.
Oh wow!
Yeah, loved it. Loved his season. I think, as I said, I think a lot of it was probably earlier in the season, but I think he was really probably the if not the close to, if not the best player in the comp and the first sort of half of the comp. So yeah, go Hammers. Giving him my I don't know, what was it, 1 point for.
Who was your one vote getter?
I'm thinking outside the square. Okay. All right.
That's fine. We're all about outside the box thinking on this.
Hopefully they're in your team.
No, they're not.
Oh wow.
It could be different things. It's like all NBA versus MVP voting.
I suppose you could have two of the two first fives in there.
No, I don't. It's the Suva fans.
We don't have a best bet you could.
I only played one game in Suva, didn't they? The other game was the other game was Toko, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, the Fijian fans,
the Drua fans,
who just the atmosphere at both of those games was just fantastic. I really enjoyed watching. So that's why I'm giving 1 point to the Drua fans.
See what we have to work with here, people.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
It's good save there, Paul.
But how about a player?
No. They came in third for me.
I had Rob Valentini third on my list. He was awesome, and if he'd played the full season and been around the business, then he would have been higher. Yeah, I think he was integral to the Brumbies.
Yeah.
I had Sam Whitelock second. Same thing, like in terms of heart and soul of the champion team. He makes them tick. So Sam Whitelock gets my 2 votes. You got like a broadcaster or some
Crusaders
sort of
fans?
mascot.
Captain Hurricane number 1.
Okay, you guys are just taking it too far this time. I'm going with Artie Severe.
Yeah, very hard to argue with.
Will Jordan.
Oh
yeah. Just Mr. Consistency. Loves a try. Plenty of meters run. Sign me up.
And number 1, Paul, I'll let you lead this off.
Richie Wong. I thought he had if I'd picked Bowden Barrett in my Super Rugby season of the team of the season, then he would have been my number 1. But Richie Wong, because I selected him, I thought he had a huge influence on how the Crusaders went during the season.
Yeah, I got Bowden Barrett.
Yeah. Same here. I think like Richie should really be in the top 3. I just wanted to give Valentini a bit of love, like him and Whitelock. I don't know if you took one out or the other. They're both obviously excellent. But Bodie, for me, just raised the Blues to that next level, which I think is the toughest thing to do to get to being a championship contender. Obviously, would have liked to hit a bit more of impact on Saturday night, but it is a 17-game season or whatever. But yeah, they're both very good rugby players. Let's snip that bit out and put it on social. Bowden Barrett, Richie Wong are both very good at rugby. People will still find a way to get mad
Keep
at
the
that.
punters happy.
Yes, congratulations to all.
There you go.
Yeah,
I've kept the South Islanders on.
I had Sam Whitelock second in mine. Good punishment off Building Boy.
Second in mine.
Yeah.
Plus, I've kept the Pacific Island viewers on.
Same.
Me and the Pacific Island viewers are always on great terms. All right, should we? That I think sums up our Super Rugby summary for the season. Obviously, plenty of great stuff happened. Yeah, we'll look forward to next season. There's already been plenty of speculation about finals formats and all that sort of stuff. So we'll leave that for another day. But should we? It's now All Blacks season. Should we move on to Eden Park next Saturday night? Play selector again. Could just run through another team. We're just doing 1 to 15. Should we do it again? 1 to 23.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So this is to be clear, this is who we would pick if we were in charge, not our predicted teams or anything like that. It's just who we would like to see run out in the All Blacks jerseys in the first test at Eden Park. Paul, since you're just really on fire now, I'll let you give us your loose head prop first. Or should we do? We'll do our front rows as a whole because especially with the bench, it's sort of yeah. Who's your starting front row?
Tu'ungafasi, Toki Aho, and Ross.
You, Richard?
Bauer, Taylor, and Nipo Lolala.
I've gone George Bauer, I guess, Dane Coles, and Nipo Lolala.
Colesy.
So yeah, we've got I think 2 out of 3 in every position there.
Yeah.
Little. Or have we each got a different hooker?
Yeah, we'll go different hooker. Yeah. So I got Taylor.
Wow,
You Toki Aho starting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think he's. Oh yeah.
What, better off the bench?
Well,
Wow,
either way,
okay,
you know,
alright.
but he got a good shout out in the Super Rugby team of the year.
He did.
So
Obviously, I think not a lot of people have Dane starting. That might be, but I just think there's an energy he brings to the All Black forward pack that was missing on occasions last year when he wasn't out there. And
a bit more aggro.
So you might need someone to get in the face of the Irish early on. And yeah, I feel he's obviously can't play every game anymore, but on his day, he's as good and as skillful as any hooker. So might be a bit of a homer pick, but I certainly think he. And I'm not sure Cody Taylor's 100% healthy. Like I don't think if that wasn't a final, I think he might not have played on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He took a bit of a knock too during the game, didn't he?
I think that if he was out, I probably would rather see Coles start and then Toki Aho off the bench. But at the same time, because Toki Aho, as you say, like he's someone to look out for. But if he come in with half an hour to go, running into some tired Irish forwards, can cause some damage.
Yeah, and set piece wise as well, it's hard to really like quantify the impact of like hookers on a scrum. But they're obviously all very strong scrummages, like the Crusaders set piece. No issues whatsoever. Yeah. How about in the second row? Anyone not going with Whitelock and Retallick?
Ding ding.
Bang bang.
Yeah, that's too easy, right? Yeah. This is where it will get more interesting. I bet in the loose forward trio. It's who knows? This is a complete sweepstakes. Who you got on the 6 jersey, Paul?
Papali'i.
Richard?
Savia.
Yeah, I've got Artie in my 6 jersey. I feel like we might be coming at the same
from different
angles here. But yeah, Artie obviously wore the 6 jersey in the World Cup. So even if Kieran Reid was really playing blindside there, I think it'll be the same thing here. Artie will probably spend more time at the back of the scrum, but
well, that's
I'd have him starting in the.
He has to be there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he can obviously play all 3 positions. But that 6 is just there's a real concern there.
Yeah.
No one's really putting their hand up, are they? So.
Well, yeah, because
Blackhead was that.
Yeah, I'd have Dalton Papali'i in my 7 jersey, and I'd have him sort of playing more the blindside role. You look at his measurables; he's the same size as all these other blind. I don't know what they're like. Why people think he can't? Like, he's not big enough to play blindside.
He's big enough.
He'd do a perfectly fine job there. He's been awesome. The way the other 2 play as well, they're big sevens, Kane and Severe. So I'd go for the sort of 3 loose forwards, 3 opens, open sides option. Yeah,
I see Kane at
8. Yeah. Well, I think I mean, if we're looking at how it actually happens, I think it's Papali'i in the 6 jersey, Kane in the 7, Artie in the 8. Yeah. How did you guys finish off your loose forward trios?
Sam Kane 7, Artie Severe 8.
Yeah.
Sam Kane 7, Peter Gus 8.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I just want to see.
You're in love with him.
Oh, I love him. Well, he just brings something different, you know.
Can't argue with that.
And there was size was probably an issue when we played Ireland last time. You know, he's just got a bit of extra beef to him, and it's a very strong ball runner. So, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, like they've clearly picked him for a specific reason, and if you just need that ball runner off the back of the scrum and someone who can dent the line.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he at least gets a run off the bench at some point. You know, because they picked him for a reason, and he has something different that he can offer.
Aaron Smith.
All right,
Finlay Christie.
Oh.
Get out. Is that just because do you think he's a better halfback than Aaron Smith?
Oh, I think he deserves a spot. That's why.
All right.
Yep. He's been very, very good for the Blues. And look, I know Aaron Smith is the incumbent, and I'm sure that he'll be selected. You asked me who I would have, and I would have Finlay Christie there right now.
He was probably one of the only Blues in the weekend that really looked like they were doing something, and looked like they were doing something. Looked like they were trying.
Yeah. All the Auckland catchment area viewers have signed off now.
We've got a huge viewership from like Gisborne to Wellington. We really thrive there. Maybe across to Tasman, you know, when it's.
I think we've got the Tasman.
But it's Crusaders territory as well. So.
That's true. Dangerous.
So there, you know,
shout out to
we know our heartland.
Shout out to Dunners, the Scarfies.
Aaron Smith.
I've got Aaron Smith.
Yeah. I'd take it. There's 2 Bowdens, 1 Moonga in the 10 jersey.
I've got Bowden.
Oh, Bowden?
Yeah.
I mean,
they just need to make Foster needs to make a call and say like, this is it. You're the man. You're going to be here till the World Cup. You know, because there's been so much questioning of whose jersey that is. I think Bodie great, and then Richie will probably Richie off the bench.
Richie off the bench running inside defenses sounds terrifying to me if I'm from any other country. You see how good he gets in games later on when the gaps open up a bit. Like Bodie can slide to the back or whatever. Yeah. Like I don't know if you want him to. We've got so many good outside back options, but What was because you were obviously Team Moonga in the Super Rugby team this season. Is there anything in particular that's made your team Bowden for?
Well, like I said, it was a toss of a coin really between Bodie and Richie, so it wasn't too much in it. But I do like the fact that bringing Richie off the bench in that last 20-25 minutes. Look out!
Yeah, that does sound pretty terrifying. We've got Leicester on the left wing.
Yes.
I've gone Paul Jordan.
Oh,
yeah. I know he often plays on the right, or he pretty much exclusively plays on the right, but I've got someone on the right wing, and I've got someone else in the fullback jersey. So
no, that's
Leicester.
Yeah, I need to see Leicester in a black jersey. We'll probably have a few differences of opinion here in the 12 jersey.
David Havili
gets in off his grand final performance.
Tapia.
Yeah, I probably would have been Tapia a week ago. But I thought Havili was great. So if we can bring that form that he was close to the best of players. I mean, so many Crusaders are so good on the weekend, but yeah, I mean, he would have been probably my top 3 or 4 of those really good players.
I just think we've seen the David Havili in the All Black 12 jersey movie, and Tapia might, just provide something a little different against what's going to be a very good Irish defense. We know they're going to be super well organised and up in your face.
Who played 12 against Ireland last year?
David Havili.
He did.
Yeah.
No, I'll stick with that.
I do have a Crusader on the 13 jersey, though, Jack Goodhue, who obviously was not on the end of year tour last year, but I still think is our best midfielder when fully healthy and is getting closer to that. So, how about you guys? 13.
Haven't quite seen enough from Goodhue. I've just gone with Rico. Probably, you mentioned he had a great season. He was obviously your centre of the year. He went a little bit missing on Saturday night, but I'm going to take that as just a one-off, and hopefully he can be back to his best.
Was good against Ireland and Dublin, to be fair.
Yeah.
If the ball had been a little bit back, it would have been great.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. How about you, Paul? Who's your centre?
Tapia. I'm playing him in the 13. He's got the build to play 13. His distribution skills are top notch. I'm willing to have a little go with Tapia second. He would have been at centre. He would have been my second if Havili hadn't put his hand up in that final. So
yeah, I think distribution is going to be huge against us. Like they obviously, we know what they're going to do defensively. It's going to be ready, set, go. So you're going to need guys who can feel comfortable playing those balls at.
Well, we want to feed the guys on the wing because we've got some absolute
beasts,
barnstorming talent out wide.
Yeah, and I've got Will Jordan in my 14 jersey.
Will Jordan?
So yeah.
Serious.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Reece is just he's just such a little energizer.
He is.
You know?
Yeah,
like he just it might be size might be an issue against this Irish team, but yeah, no, I love him in the 14 jersey.
Struggles under the high ball though. I
don't think he's really been tested. If I'm an opposition coach, I'm going to be putting some high balls up to his wing and just testing him out. And if he handles it, fine, we'll go another route. But I don't really think any coach has actually tested him, not during the Super Rugby season anyway.
Maybe the Springboks last year, but
Irish coach should be watching now.
Yeah, no, I'll give you the hint. The Irish are going to be putting high balls up, especially if it's not a lovely evening in Auckland in a couple of weeks' time. It is getting towards the middle of winter in New Zealand here, so and I presume that means we all have Jordan Barrett in the 15 jersey.
I do.
Yeah.
Enough said there.
There was a lot of love for Will Jordan as fullback, which I mean his form has been sensational, but
Will
Geordie's just
Jordan, especially if these tests are tight. The factor of having someone who's kick a 55-meter penalty is like huge. Massive. When it's games where you're going up in threes instead of fives. Jordan, he can move into the midfield. He's such a strong ball runner. He gives you, and Will Jordan was awesome on the right wing or on the wing in general, like in the India tour. It's not like a Bowden Moanga thing where you lose a lot by moving one of the guys to the fullback. Like Will Jordan can be the way the All Blacks play as well. Like you think back to Ben Smith being on the right wing, they sort of play that almost two fullback system where it's going to have plenty of opportunity. You can have at least a sort of up flatter as more of that battering ram. So.
We've got an abundance of riches out wide than the 11, 14 and 15.
If only Geordie could play 6.
I'm surprised Canes didn't try him there during the season.
Good play, right? He is featured in lineouts in Super Rugby in the past. It's maybe that's something to look into. He's got the height. Everyone keeps telling us we need tall forwards. So.
Something like a goalkeeper in the 90th minute where you're down 2-1 or something. Right, down in the opposition's penalty box. Give it a go.
All right, we'll just run through the reserves quickly because we are running out of time here. My backup front row, Cody Taylor, Aidan Ross, Angus Ta'avao.
Dane Coles, George Bauer, Angus Ta'avao.
Richard?
Takiaho, Tuinukiafi, and Tuungafasi.
That's the Blues brothers.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they went great in the weekend, but I'll stick with that.
I mean, I get the feeling Carl is going to feature a lot because they actually picked him for this series, given he's not available after the Rugby Championship. So
very interesting.
Yeah, it is. I actually would have Ethan de Groot in my team if I was picking squad.
If he was there.
Definitely. I watched that quarterfinal where he dominated the blue scrum. Tupu Vai is my backup lock.
Tupu Vai?
Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, I think Scott Barrett probably will get the jersey right and hard to argue with it. I just like the sort of extra, dynamism Vai might give you. He can cover 6.
Can cover 6 more confidently.
Yes. Less of a red card risk as well, in the current environment. I've got Hoskins Satutu as my other backup list forward. Really impressed with him this season. He was awesome. I think he can add a lot of punch coming off the bench, and he's not afraid of the tough stuff.
Nice. I got Dalton Papali'i.
Akira Ioane.
That is your
all blues. All different blues.
Folau Fakatava, backup 9 for me.
Ding ding.
Christie.
Yeah.
I think Christie was, I think he was very close to being in my team of the year. Halfback. I think he's been great.
Yeah.
Fakatava, obviously, I really hope he gets a run at some point. See what he can do. But Christie probably on form deserves to be there.
I did think, it's kind of, if it is a close test and you've got to bring your backup halfback on 15 minutes ago, is it like a bit much chucking him straight in the cauldron there? But you're going to have to play him at some stage. He's shown he's more than good enough. I don't think confidence is even an issue for Folau. And it's the same thing with him and Moanga, having those two come off. Yes, please. We've all got Moanga as in the 22 jersey.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how about your sort of backup outside back? Who have you gone for?
Rico.
Mr. Faingaduku.
I've gone for Sevu. I have him and Rico bracketed here, but just thinking about it a little bit more, I think he provides that a little bit more X factor than talking about impact players. Rico certainly provides extra position.
Sort of wider cover.
Yeah.
I've got Geordie who I can move into the midfield. I've got Leicester who I can move into the midfield. I think they're both great options.
Go to the back. If Reece came on the wing.
Yeah. No, like either or. No bad options here. So
I had a similar thought with Whanganui because he can obviously cover that centre as well. So having him wing centre, and then with Bowden or Richie, whoever, being able to sort of recycle back to fullback as well. So
that about does us for this week of the Pick and Go podcast. We'll be back in 7 days' time to preview the first test All Black season, almost here. So
good.
Did you want to touch on? I believe you've got some power plays or something you like the look of?
There are some series power plays for the All Blacks Ireland series, and one that sticks out. The Barrett brothers to score 3 or more tries combined in the series, paying $5, has already been very well backed by punters, and I can understand why. Just one that stood out for me.
Was it 3 or more tries?
Yes, for the Barrett brothers.
What price?
$5.
I
thought that just
Don't mind
took my interest anyway.
Scooter doesn't mind, getting loose in a bit of open space from time to time. The other two can score tries.
Yeah, they've scored 1 or 2. Yeah. That's
I was
one.
having a look at them, and I don't think that the All Blacks will win 3-0, but there was one, the All Blacks to win
1 to 12, all three games,
$18, which if the All Blacks had to win 3 games, I wouldn't be surprised if they're all close. So, but I suppose when you figure out what the odds of 1 to 12 is each game, probably works out about right. But no, I didn't mind that one. I didn't mind series score 2-1 as well in the New Zealand 2-1, $3. Paying under $2 for
You're having $1 each way now, Rishi.
Well, that's what I said. I don't think they're going to win 3-0, but if I did, have a little say on that one.
Nibble.
Will Jordan score a try in all 3 games? $9.
Yeah, don't mind that at all.
Now we've got to rely on the selectors to pick him in all 3 games because they've got so many, guns in the 3 quarters. It's like, are they going to give everyone a go? And if they do, does that mean that he may start on the bench one game, and does he only get? Probably only needs 10 minutes to score a try against the Irish, but if he's not selected at all,
it is $9. It's a fun little power play to have. I always like having money on Will Jordan to score a try. So,
anyone got a first New Zealand try scorer for the series?
William Thomas Jordan,
$6 favourite.
Yeah,
I'll go with Super Reece, $9, providing he gets the start on the right wing.
Dane Cole's $18. There you go. That's me.
It's called it.
Will Jordan, come on.
Very cool.
All righty. So we've got no rugby this weekend? Like in our vicinity? Nothing
really. It's all about the really get out and support the club game, in your local areas. Go and see
Eastbourne.
I was actually going to say it's a big weekend. Swindale Shield going down to the wire. Old Boys and Petone tied top of the table. That great rivalry.
Swindale Shield.
Yeah. So
wow,
all to play for there. Great top of the table clash at Helston Park in the under 85s between Johnsonville and Stokes Valley. Should be a cracker. So get out and support the local game wherever you are around the country, and we'll be back in 7 days' time to preview the first test between the All Blacks and Ireland. And I imagine that'll be full of hot takes. Join us then.
Happy Matariki.
That too.